Hey everyone, it's Cassandra again, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the STEM field, particularly if you or your student is thinking about applying to that. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. All right, so if you yourself or your student is thinking about applying some STEM, here's some information and questions we want you to reflect on before applying to it. So first, as a STEM major, you're going to ask yourself these questions, or any applying major. What are you hoping to accomplish by studying this particular major? What types of problems are you interested in? And how do you want to tackle these problems? However, if you're a STEM major, you're going to think about it from 4 different areas. If you are science focused, it's how and why does this work? If you're technology focused, another question is how do I apply this to produce something? And then if you're an engineering approach, how can I actually use this? And if you have a mathematical approach, is why does calculus work from a theoretical standpoint? And how can I make calculus useful from an applied standpoint? So you want to take into factor of which one of these questions draws you in more, and that will lead you towards what major within the STEM field you may be interested in. So we want you all to think beyond the typical majors. So for example, for science, pretty common majors are biology, chemistry, and physics, but less common majors can be planetary science, forensic science, entomology, crop science, speech and hearing science, environmental science, geology, earth science, and geophysics. It's really important because less common majors mean they're less impacted or they're not as competitive, and it's more tailored to your specific focus. For mathematics, again, some common ones is stats, economics, and math. Less common ones is mathematical and secondary education. That's a big thing that's going on right now. Financial and mathematical statistics, data science, and actual science. A quick note we want to make with that is financial firms are actually moving away from looking students with finance degrees. They're more interested in data science, neuroscience, computer science, actuarial science, and financial math and statistics, and along those sort. They're really trying to get away from the narrowed mindset of just mathematics, and they want to think about how it can be applied everywhere else as well. The next one is engineering, and the 3 common ones that I know our students always talk about is mechanical, electrical, and civil engineering. And it's really important that students narrow down their engineering focus. So less common ones tend to be robotic, environmental, nuclear, structural, archaeological, and biomedical engineering. It's really important to cater which engineering field you want to be involved in, because that's going to help your undergraduate process and your master's progress, so you can be focused on what you want instead of the overall general engineering process. And the last one is technology. So this one is a little bit more creative with our students. Electrical engineering technology comes in, cybersecurity, software development. A lot of people think it's just on how to build something within the computer and that's it. And that's not the case. Less common majors that students don't know that applying this is audio engineering technology, construction management and technology, medical health information and technology, food science and technology, but you're still building programs that are going to be implemented into a computer and such. It doesn't always have to be just for a business. It can be for construction, for health, for food science, and everything like that as well. So again, think beyond the traditional majors, because again, it's going to help you get into the field that you really are passionate about, and it's going to help you with your competitive process too. So a little bit more into technology and engineering. I know this slide may look like a lot, but basically what it's showing you is on the left-hand side is engineering technology education. Everything on that portion is going to be a lot more hands-on. Work, career, everything like that. And everything on your right-hand side is going to be engineering education. This is more of the theoretical approach. Well, again, you are going to have on some hands-on experience because the engineering field is going to provide that for you. It is going to be a lot more of the thought process behind it, rather than in the engineering technology education. You are going to be putting it into place and testing it and collaborating with others to see how it actually operates. So that's something we wanted to make note of as well. Some recommendations we have for you. We want to make sure that you take classes in humanities and focus on developing your foreign language, social science, and writing skills. These are very important for STEM students. You want to show that you're a very well-rounded student, and just because you excel in engineering doesn't mean you don't have the proper skills in communicating with others and writing down your own material. Next is you want to look at the curriculum for the college's programs you're interested in before applying. Doing your research beforehand is going to be great. This is going to help you figure out which college is your right fit. If they offer a major that has nuclear engineering because you know that's your passion, rather than going to a very well-known school just for general engineering, it's not going to further you in your education because you are wanting a more structured pathway. Next is you want to ensure that any engineering or technology you're applying for is accredited through the ABT accreditation for engineering and technology. So I just want to show you this one really quick because some people get kind of confused when going to this site. So we are going to go ahead and go to it. So looking at it, we researched Berkeley just because it's a pretty well-known school that everyone knows of, and we wanted to show you what they are accredited for. So chemical engineering, civil engineering, industrial, material science, mechanical, nuclear is on here, which is great. So they have very different ones they're accredited by, but for example, like they're not accredited for electrical engineering. So if that's something you're interested, although Berkeley is a well-known school, that may not be the best option for you because you're not going to get the electrical engineering experience you want, and it's not accredited by them. So I highly recommend you go through this. If you're looking for institutions, you can search by name, by category, anything along those lines, just to make sure that you are getting the most out of your research that you're doing. Jumping back to the presentation here, another advice we want to give for you is on your personal statements or your main Common App essay, really be reflective in there. They're looking for ideas of how in depth you're going with your communication ideas. It's less about the topic and more about the reflective abilities. Avoid retolerating the activities list. You don't want to keep telling them the same things over and over again about you. For any applicant, don't be redundant within your activity descriptions, within your essays, because this is your one chance to show who you are outside of your grades and your standardized test scores. Make the most out of it. And last is be very intentional. What do you want to do with the major you're selecting? I know that's a huge question to ask a 17, 18-year-old, but really reflect on it a little bit more. If you know engineering is interesting to you, and going back to nuclear engineering, if that's something you're very interested in, odds are it's going to be something that plays a part of your career choice. So whenever you're looking, make sure you are being very thoughtful about the decisions you're making, because while STEM is kind of all within the same category, it's hard to switch around from place to place. That's because everyone has such a specific structure. And if you know what you're doing, it just makes it a little bit easier in your process. So advice from some colleges we have. So a big thing that we hear is is calculus. So take it. It's so highly recommended if you take calculus, especially if you're applying as an engineering major in particular. It's going to be used in 95% of your work anyway. You're just going to need to know how to do it. So make sure you take it in high school, or if you can at a community college, always try to take that course if possible. Also, it's recommended that you take 4 years of a language, and this is a foreign language. This shows your commitment into a new skill set. Again, you want to show them that you're a very well-rounded student, and having another language just makes you a stronger candidate as well. You'll be able to work internationally rather than just with people within your own area. Next, they recommend taking a higher level external math course outside of high school instead of AP Stats in senior year, again, especially for engineering. They want you to go above and beyond. You're going to have to take many math courses post high school, that it's just very important in high school if you can take all of your opportunities and use them wisely. Take some at a community college, High Bluff Academy, virtual National University, I think, has some programs as well. These are great options to utilize when you're in high school, because it's just going to prep you for college and give you more confidence going in that you know your material. Next is essays and extracurriculars can end up being the determining factors when many students applying all have the same high GPA and high test scores. And we do see this a lot as well. Just because you have a 4.3 and a perfect 36, doesn't mean you're going to get into every school. Sometimes it comes down to the point where the student who volunteered at the hospital, had a part-time job, and was on the robotics team makes them a stronger candidate than you because they have experience working, they have experience of making their own money and using it wisely. And just working with people. It's really important, again, in high school that you're taking advantage of all of your opportunities to the best of your ability. Don't overwhelm yourself just to make you well-rounded. Make sure you're doing it impactfully. Last is that STEM majors can receive applicant reviews beyond just the admissions representatives. So this is really important as well. Whenever you are writing essays or mentioning in your descriptions or short personal statements, name drop some people that you're interested in and working with, or if you are looking at the school and you think a class sounds really great. Like you think, oh my gosh, advanced calculus, for example, sounds spectacular with Dr. Mitchell. That's something to name drop in there because they're going to show it's going to show them that you've done research again into the program and that you found a program that you're really passionate about and a school that you're passionate about. So it's going to draw them into you a little bit more. So last thing we want to mention is 5 strong applicants demonstrate these things. So again, persistence, creativity, patience, teamwork, and tolerance for ambiguity. STEM is full of a group-oriented careers. Colleges can teach soft skills, but they can't STEM is full of group-oriented careers. Colleges can't teach soft skills, but they can teach things like coding. They're looking for students who already possess skills like these because it's just going to make their process easier. You want to think about what you can bring to the table. Show them these characteristics within your essays, extracurriculars, your activity descriptions, and letters of recommendation. That is my presentation for today. If you'll have any other questions about the STEM field or would like to know a little bit more in-depth research about it, you can either contact your counselor, contact myself, or contact Michelle, and we'd be happy to provide you with some more information. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye.